Plaintiff Elizabeth Norick has been friends with the defendant for 15 years, but she claims the defendant committed the ultimate betrayal by giving Elizabeth's dog away. Elizabeth claims the defendant refuses to tell her whom she gave her beloved pet to, so she's suing her today for a refund and emotional distress. Defendant Amy Nivers says she took Elizabeth into her home when Elizabeth was homeless. Amy claims she realized Elizabeth was a severe alcoholic after she moved in, so she asked her to leave. And she only gave the dog away because she didn't think Elizabeth could take care of it.
Start with you.
All right, after over 15 years of friendship, I have basically lost all of my faith in humanity because this woman who I trusted completely took away my baby, gave it away to someone else, won't tell me their name, and the entire time after she had done this was still requesting money from us for his care. We thought the entire time that he was with her.
Where do you know the defendant from?
I met her in high school when my family moved to Ohio, and we've kept in touch over the years. Multiple times when I was home from college, we spent time together, and when I moved to Chicago, she's come into the city numerous times to visit me.
And you all got along? There was never any problems or complications?
I thought that everything was great.
All right, ma'am. Was everything going well for you guys?
Yes, I was traveling out of town, and she sent me a message on Facebook and said that she was homeless. She needed a place to live. She was in between apartments, and she was afraid she was going to be raped if I didn't come help her and have a place to stay. So I told her she could come stay
Raped where?
with the man's house she was staying at, where I picked her up from. So I was like, okay, I'll come get you. You can come stay with me. And
Is that true?
That is not remotely true. In no way, shape, matter, or form did I ever give her the impression that I was going to be raped. That's a serious thing to say.
Yeah.
I would never have said that.
Did you move, and what were the circumstances?
I was in the middle of a breakup, and I sent out a message to several people who were in the Chicago area on Facebook. And I would have just stayed at a hotel or something, but I couldn't find anything that was remotely in my price range that would allow me to have a pet there, especially because my baby is part pit bull. So he's...
Really? Let me see.
I've got a lot of pictures.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's part pit bull. We don't know what daddy is. His mom was found by the side of the road.
All right, so go ahead.
Amy told me that she was driving back from Wisconsin and she could pick me up in Chicago on her way back and that I could stay with her. So I thought that that was a great solution. So we got there. Everything seemed to be copacetic. We picked up her daughter from the babysitter since Amy had been out of town overnight. Everything was fine. And then on Sunday morning, she woke me up and told me that I had to take a bus back that day. And her actual words were, "You've got about 30 minutes and then I'm gonna call the cops."
What happened?
I asked her what was going on, and I was in complete tears at the time. I was like, I can't take the dog back on the bus with me. How am I supposed to get my baby home? What is this about? I don't understand why you're doing this. And her response was, I know you don't understand. Since I live in the city, I don't have a car.
What happened with your dog?
Well, she agreed that when I got back to the city, as soon as I found a place, that the next time that she was in Chicago on business, which she regularly travels for business, she said it would probably be about a week, that she would bring the dog back. And within 2 days, I was in a new place. And I immediately started messaging her and asking, when can you bring the dog back? And that's when she started asking me for money. So I sent her $150. And then she said that that was not sufficient. And she said, I want 200. And I said, okay, we'll send you 50 more. And she said, no, 200 more. We didn't have an extra $200 at the time. So then we try and try and try. I've got this all in text messages, Your Honor, to get her to name an amount that she'll agree to. She finally agrees that $400 is acceptable for the return of the dog. The portions that are highlighted show when she agrees to the $400 and that she says that the $400 is so that she will return my dog. The day after its delivery, she unfriends me on Facebook and won't return any of my calls. She finally communicates with me and she tells me, she lies to me and tells me that she lost the dog a week ago. I start calling every single animal shelter. I start calling every single animal shelter and every vet in our county. It's not a part of Illinois that I'm familiar with at all. And we're making all of these phone calls, and one of the vets says, well, if he's got a microchip, you should call the microchipping company. So we call them, and we find out that in August, someone else tried to have the dog re-chipped under their name. So she finally admits that she gave the dog away less than 12 hours after I left her house. The entire time that she's been asking us for money, she didn't even have my dog. She was lying to me and giving me updates on how the dog was this whole time.
Ma'am,
Yes, Your Honor.
what do you want to say? What's your side?
There's always two sides to every story, right? Yeah. So I picked her up
Her crying like this is funny, huh? Go ahead.
Well, Your Honor, the reason I say why I laughed was because she's been telling her friends that through all of her years as a child stage actor, I am pretty good at turning on the waterworks and I'm much cuter than my adversary. So I think luck is on my side. So that's why
You have that?
Yeah, it's a message.
Where was it from?
She said it to one of her friends. She also said, I want to kill the I don't care if I look like a I just want my dog back.
I do just want my dog back.
I understand.
And I'm fine with looking like a at least I don't look like a horrible human being.
I don't think...
So that's what the waterworks are, an act?
So she finally admits that she gave the dog away less than 12 hours after I left her house. The entire time that she's been asking us for money, she didn't even have my dog. She was lying to me and giving me updates on how the dog was this whole time.
Ma'am,
Yes, Your Honor.
what do you want to say? What's your side?
There's always two sides to every story, right? Yeah. So I picked her up
Her crying like this is funny, huh?
Defendant Amy Niver is being sued by her former friend, who claims Amy gave her dog away without permission and refuses to tell the plaintiff where he is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so when I picked you up and brought you to my home, I quickly realized that she was very sick, and I didn't realize how sick she was. Within 24 hours, I had done her laundry, and I found an empty bottle of wine in her suitcase, one of my bottles of wine. I found a whole fifth of empty bottle of whiskey behind the television stand, and then she had all these medical issues, so she had to keep drinking alcohol because she had night sweats and she was
What
shaking.
did that have to do with the dog?
So that was, I had to get her out of the house because I have an 8-year-old and I couldn't have that behavior around the house. And I couldn't take her back to Chicago, so I had to put her on a train. So that meant that I had to keep the dog at my place.
Your Honor, if she saw
Let her
all of
finish
this bad
now.
behavior.
Let her finish. That's enough.
I
Go
was, and I never left her alone with my daughter ever.
Okay.
I was leaving town on Monday, so I put her on a train on Sunday, and I was leaving town on Monday. I couldn't board the dog because I didn't have any records of his vaccinations or anything, so my choice was to have a friend take care of him or take him to the Humane Society where he would be killed. So I made the best choice at the time, and I took him to a friend's house. And after I had told Liz that she needed to pay me back for her consumables, all the alcohol and the cigarettes and the food while she was there, that was what the money was for. And she said she sent me a money order, it never showed up. She said she wired me money, it never showed up, all those things. And so I honestly never expected money to show up. I did what was best for the dog at the time. I was really trying to help her and him, and in return, she sends me very nasty voicemail messages and hate
How were
mail.
you helping her? Did you give her dog away?
I did give her dog away, yes.
How long after getting the dog?
I had a friend was watching the dog for several weeks, and actually that friend gave the dog away because they couldn't care for him anymore.
I thought you had intended to keep the dog.
I said I would look after him and make sure he was
So
well
why'd you
taken
give the
care of.
dog to a friend for several weeks?
Because I promised to make sure he was well taken care of.
Okay, so you lied to her.
I misled her, yes.
And did you demand money before returning the dog?
I said that we could talk about the dog after, that was how it started, and then once I continued to
You
be
want me to read
harassed.
the text that she gave me?
Sure.
Would you accept $3.50 in Macy's gift cards and $50 in cash to bring my dog home? I'm sincerely dying without my child.
Yes, I remember
You
these
say,
texts.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Just resign yourself that he is lost to you forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Coming here laughing and then admitting to misleading her immediately after getting the dog? You give the dog away after you told her you would keep it? Judgment for the plaintiff, $3,900.
have nothing to say to her. I just want to say that if anybody knows where backup is, it was his birthday last week. He was 2. If anybody has any information, please contact the show so that they can leave that information to me, please.
Done and over with.